Hi guys, my name is Hailey. I'm your Indigenous Interpreter here at the Riverbank Discovery Center this summer. And today I'm here with Verna Demontigny, one of our community elders and knowledge keepers, and she's going to share some stories with us today for the second episode of Healing Voices. So I'll let you guys take a look at that right now. All right, there, whenever you're ready.
Makuchi, Bran Mavoye, Bran Kikchi.
Tache. Hello. Tache Kim. Hello, how are you?
I am slowly healing. Slowly healing.
Verna Demontigny de Shinakashan, Brana Notani Weekend, Maka Bouch Danuchte Chit Community, Full Yard Corner, Shinkate. I'm Verna Demontigny. I live in Brandon now, but I come from a small community called Full Yard's Corner. We have a beautiful day today. The Creator blessed us with a beautiful day. It's cool, the sun is shining. And at this place, to see the beautiful vegetation around, we're at the Riverbank Discovery, and it's beautiful out here. The river's running by not too far away. When I was growing up, I lived in a community, a Métis community, where there's only, we didn't see town. Town was far away, so we were kind of closed in that area, and we lived the Métis lifestyle, traditions, the values, all that. And in that community there was the language, there was Michif, which I started off with. And my mom didn't know how to speak English at all. So we were with her most of the time, and that's where we learned. I learned, all of us in our family learned our language, and how I was able to preserve it, to keep it. It's a beautiful language. Today, though, there's not that many people that speak it anymore. As I mentioned, that's where we learned the values. Some call them teachings. We call them values. We learned the 7 teachings that we call today. That's where we learned them. I'll talk a little bit about where I come from and where my parents come from. My father come from a community called Saint Madeleine. And that community, in 1939, the people there were forced out, and they had to relocate to where I was born and raised. It's a sad tale to that, but at the same time, I always wonder, and I always appreciate the fact that my people are, they're very strong, very courageous people, because they had to start all over from nothing. And he started all over there where I come from. They used to tell us all kinds of stories, you know, and a lot of the stories were creation stories. But for us, we don't tell those kind of stories in the summer. Usually they're told in the winter, because that's when the storytelling used to take place at one time. Because summer we're too busy harvesting and working and harvesting in order to bring all the stuff we needed for the winter. So that's what we did all summer long. The winter time though was a time where we can kind of relax. My dad was a hunter and trapper, but then at night, when he came home at night, storytelling took place. Creation stories were how the world came to be. Were not told during the summer. There are all kinds of stories, but those kinds were not told. Also, we call these ones Atayukan, they call them. Legend stories. Those kind were not told also in the summer. Métis people were superstitious people. And I remember the old people saying a long time ago, you don't tell those kind of stories in the summer. something bad would happen, because they're not told at that time. There's different kind of stories that were told during the summer. There are stories about the woman would get, when we got together, the woman would be on one side, the men would be on one side, the children would be trying to listen to the stories or just out playing. And they told stories about family, hunting stories, quilting stories, all kinds of stories. But also they told their children stories about teaching stories, like how to respect each other, how to love, humility, all those, but also stories to teach. I remember this one story. We were going to go picking berries in the summer, because we pick all kinds of berries in the summer: Saskatoons, choke cherries, raspberries, wild strawberries, any berry that was available we would pick. So we just happened to, us girls, like us young girls in the family, there's 5 of us, girls in my family, so we wanted to go pick Saskatoons at that time, because we already picked strawberries with my dad. But Saskatoons and raspberries are ready, so we were going to go pick them, and they were just hanging in the bushes at that time. Not like today. It's hard to find today, to find berries. But anyway, we were going to go picking, so my mom said, "You girls be careful," he said. "Do you know," he said, at one time, a long time ago, she said, and the stories was told to her by her aunties and her grandmas and stuff like that, right? The stories are passed down from generation to generation. So she said, "You guys be careful," she said, "when you go picking, because," she said, "at one time, a long time ago," she said, "this is why," she said, "we're related to bears." She said, "This story, this is why we're related to bears today." She said, "They're our kin, because, we're related to everything around us. We're not only related to each other as humans, but we're related to the grass, we're related to the mountains, the rivers, the animals, the trees. We're all related in some way." So she said, "You guys be careful," she said, "because if you go picking, go together. Don't go by yourself," she told us. So she said, and we asked her, "Why?" "Well," she said, "you sit down, I'll tell you a story." She said, "Why?" So we sat down and we listened to her. So she said, one time, a long time ago, she said, there was a bear, she said, and bears at that time, she said, could change into any form. So this bear was lonely. She said he was looking for a mate. He wanted someone, to live with him. So she said this young girl went picking by herself. And she said while she was picking, she said she met this handsome guy. Really nice looking guy. She met him there. She fell in love with him. So when the young guy asked her to go away with him, she did. And they walked for days. She said they walked for days. She was going with him. She said she didn't even think to go and tell her family as how infatuated she was with this bear, with this person. She said she didn't know it was a bear, but it was a nice young man. They walked for days. She said about after 3-4 days of walking, she said they came to this cave, she said, and this handsome young man told her, "Well, this is where I live." And she stopped and she looked around and she said, "Don't you live in a house or a lodge?" And the young man said, "No, this is where I live. This is in a mountain," she said, "and I lived here." So she went in, and it was a beautiful place. Not like long ago, not like today. She said there's no furniture, she said, but there was a place to lay. She said there was the leaves and stuff. She said there, you're able to lay there. She said, he had all kinds of stuff with berries and stuff in his cave. She said, but then after we got there, she said he turned into a bear. And it was so far away, she said, that she didn't know how to get home. So that's how come, she said, they lived as a couple after. She said, that's how come, she said, we're related to bears today. But the story, the moral of the story is, she said, is that you don't go picking by yourself because anything could happen. There's a lot of dangers out there, she said, so that's why in case something happened, she said, you need a bear, you've got someone, she said, to help you escape or do something. So she told us stories like that, like my mom. And a lot of times, so these stories were to teach a lesson. Not only for me, but for all the children that were there, because we used to listen to these stories, and then we knew what to do when we went picking, or if we had to do other stuff, we knew what to do. I remember too this one time that, you know how as a young kid you like to tell little fibs, right? So I remember she said, and again it was a teaching story, and she said, we were doing laundry anyway, then she asked if I scrubbed it right, and I said, oh yeah I did, but then I didn't, I just kind of went like that and put it out, and so she said, she said, I'll have to tell you something, she said, you like to, everybody, all kids today, she said, they like to tell little fibs. Did you know, she said, sometimes whatever you say turns out to be true. Did you know that? So my sister, of course, always wanted to know everything. So she said, oh, how? She said, how? How does that happen? How do you know when someone's telling a little fib? So my mom said, and my mom usually, because she spent a lot of time with us, she was usually the one that told us stories. And my dad, when he was home, he would tell us stories. And these are stories that were passed down. And it's a way of teaching. And it's a way to know what the things around you. So anyway, she said, a long time ago, she said, when the Creator was walking on this earth, she said, there was this lady. She was doing laundry on the rocks. But they had, at that time, she said, they made their own tubs, she said, out of wood pieces and stuff. And she had it sitting there, and then she saw someone coming. But there's always some guy that she said, wanted to know everything. Wanted to know everything that was going around. And she said, that's not good either, she said, because you shouldn't have to know everything, because that's being nosy. She said, that's the kind of people don't like that kind of person. She said, but at the same time, she said she saw this guy coming, and she thought it was that one. But it's because he was coming from a long ways, and she was doing laundry on the rocks. And she didn't want that person to come and ask her all kinds of questions. But she had a little boy, she said, she had a little girl. She said, and they were playing around there. And she said, that person that was coming, she was kind of the one that turned into a shift changer, she said. He wanted to know all kinds of stuff, and then he liked to steal kids. He liked to steal kids. So when she saw him coming from a long way, she thought that was him. And so she decided, if he comes any closer, I'm going to hide my children. I don't want him to take my children away from me. So this person was coming closer. But she didn't know it was the Creator. So as he was coming closer, she told her children, go under that homemade tub, go under there and hide. So the two children went under there. They went under there and they went hid under there. And so when this person came closer, the person asked her, what are you doing? So she said, like, I'm doing laundry, I'm washing clothes. And then the person said, well, what's under there? What's under there? So she said nothing. She said nothing that will matter to you. She said, there's two little bears under there. Two small cubs under there. She said, two babies. One is a girl and one is a boy. That's what I got under there, and I'm keeping them. She said, I'm keeping them for somebody. So she said, oh, okay. That stayed there for a while. They're talking for a while, and then that person left and walked away. And she finally decided, after she didn't see him no more, she finally decided to let her children out of there. So when she lifted that homemade tub, she said 2 little cubs came running out of there. So it's kind of like a creation story, but at the same time, the moral of the story is don't tell lies, right? Because whatever you do could really happen in true life. So that's the kind of stories we heard when we were growing up. We heard a lot of creation stories in the winter. We heard a lot of legends in the winter. We heard all kinds of different things, you know, to help us survive. We heard family stories. We heard stories about how to watch the animals. Even my dad used to tell us to watch the animals because they can show you how to survive. They can show you how to, you know, with a big family, how to look at each other properly, respectfully, how to be able to function as a family.
So the program that we're creating here, it's called Learning from the Land.
Okay.
So that phrase, learning from the land, when I say that, what does that mean to you?
For me, that would mean learning from everything that's around you, from the animals, the trees, the ground, air, everything that's around you.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing with me today. I really, really appreciated it. And
You're welcome.
you're so beautiful and lovely to be around, so thank you very much.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you guys so much for watching the second episode of Healing Voices, and a big, big thank you to Verna Demontigny for coming down to the Riverbank Discovery Center and hanging out with me for the day and sharing some really nice stories with me. We really want to work on that element within our programming of amplifying and appreciating Indigenous voices and talent, and I really, really hope that this series can continue as my placement draws to a close here at the end of August. Continue to make videos like this in the future and maybe next summer. But in any case, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and thanks for watching once again. Make sure to follow us online at BDN Indigenous on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Tune back in, hit subscribe, hit that like button. We upload new videos to our YouTube channel and to our website every Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. We also just put up new online brochures, so you can find those at our website along with our other videos at bdnindigenous.wixsite.com/tourism. And you might be wondering, what's that you're wearing there, Hailey? Thank you so much for asking. I'll actually let you look at the back there. These are our brand new Learning from the Land t-shirts. You can buy one right here at the Discovery Center for only $25, and 100% of that $25, the whole $25, is going to be going back into the community, back into the Riverbank Discovery Center to fund Indigenous interpretive signage. So what a absolutely wonderful and super easy way to be a part of something for your community that's going to enrich the way that we learn from the land and learn from each other. I'll see you all next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Miigwech Marci.
Makuchi, Ran Mavoye, Ran Kikchi.
Tache. Hello. Tache Kim. Hello, how are you?
I have slow